Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Today we are repotting some Hoya that I got from Home Depot. These Hoya are a part of the Proven Winners line. And what is exciting is that they are offered at such a great price. I paid less than $5 for these plants. I believe they were on sale, but I paid less than $5 each for these plants. Let me show you what I picked out. So here are the Hoya that I got, and I've been gathering these over probably 2 to 3 visits to Home Depot. Let's start with this one. This one they are calling Hoya Emerald Sun. Now you might see these named different names uh, depending on where you get them from, just in case if the name that Proven Winners has given them is different than what you might see elsewhere. This one is pretty common, but there are some others where I'm like, I don't think that's what everybody else calls you. So they say $5.98, but I know mine. I got them like for four something. We've got a carnosa. This one I'm probably going to give away. I thought this plant was um, a different Hoya when I grabbed it, and then I got home, started looking at it like, no, that's not the one I thought it was. So I probably will give this one away. And then this guy right here is Hoya Lac. Not even going to try that. Autumn Blush. Hoya Lacu. Yeah, but it's gorgeous. Look at those leaves. Look how beautiful they are. So now we're gonna go and repot these Hoyas, and I'm actually not gonna repot this one because I want to give it away. I want to go ahead and repot these four. So I've got 4 different pots that we're going to use to repot these plants. And one thing that I like to use for my soil mix for Hoya, I like to use orchid bark. So I grabbed this orchid potting mix right here, and this is a coarse blend. So the pieces of it are, of course, coarsely blended, but they are small enough so that they mix in well with regular soil. I have another orchid bark mix, and the pieces are much bigger and chunkier, and for the size pots that they're going in, I don't really want big giant chunks of wood and other pieces in there. I want things to be a lot finer. So this mix here is going to give me exactly what I need in the soil mix that I want to use for my Hoya. So I've got the orchid bark and the potting mix together. And let me show you some examples. So this is kind of a little bit chunkier than I'd like in this soil mix. And then this is a little too long in this soil mix. So I'm going to move those to my soil bin that I have on the floor. But this looks really, really good. This is a little bit too big. I want chunky but not ginormous pieces. So for the most part, this orchid bark looks really good. So let's go ahead and start popping our plants out of their pots, and let's see what's going on with those. Okay, so let's start looking at these Hoya. We'll start with one. I don't know, there's a little bit of extraness in this pot. Okay, so we've got these 4 pots here. Let's start with the Hoya Emerald Surf, Hoya Emerald Surf. Sorry. Now these guys I let dry out because it makes it easier to repot. I'm just going to squeeze this, and we'll see what the root situation looks like here. Okay, so this one is not fully rooted to the bottom. There's still a bit of soil left in here. So this one was like, this one is probably still okay to be in this pot, but let me just look. Yeah, I'm still gonna go ahead and repot it. Let's add in some fresh soil. And then we'll pop this right on top. That's perfect. And then we will backfill in around the sides. Smacking that pot to let that soil settle in there. Perfect. Now this looks really good. Now after watering, that soil will settle in a little bit more. Okay, so next plant we are going to do is this Hoya Matilde. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce it. Matilde Splash. So this one is so cute. I can see roots coming out of the bottom. That tells me this plant is ready for a new pot. But let's go ahead and gently pull it out. I'm just squeezing the pot to loosen everything up. Come on. I don't want to break any pieces off of here. Come on. Let me see if we're locked in down here. Yes, we are. So I will have to break some roots. Okay, that should be good. Ooh, this one's rooted real good. Perfect candidate for a repot. Now these little Leaf Joy Littles are so cute. I don't know if you guys have seen Proven Winners Houseplants in store, but they are really kicking it up a notch with in the houseplant section. I will say that, like, you know, they've got it going on with the outdoor plants and, you know, the bedding plants, annuals, perennials, all that stuff. And but the house plants, like when they first launched, um, I was excited, but you know, most of the plants that they launched were plants that I already had. So it wasn't like I got to go run out and get some. The only thing that I bought was the Philodendron gloriosum, which is actually over here in rehab. But now I'm seeing that they're doing the Hoyas, they're doing like so many other um, rare plants that you guys might be interested in and might find something that you don't already have at home. Okay, this one is actually going to need a bigger pot. Let me see. Okay, this would be perfect for that. This one's a little bit too small. So I'm gonna put some soil in that. And I really, if I didn't have a shortage of terracotta, I wouldn't use this pot because it has the drain tray attached to it already. And I don't really like these pots all that well. I prefer it to be like this with no drainage hole, no drainage saucer attached. But we use what we got. So let's try and stick this in here. Perfect. Now we're gonna backfill. Now Hoyas like the standard bright indirect light, so no sun rays beating down on this plant, but they can be in a bright room. They can be in a window as long as sun rays are not on the leaves for, you know, a long amount of time. Now we're smacking. Alrighty, that looks amazing. Next up, we're gonna do this teacup anemone Hoya. Now let's check the roots here. All right, this one has some roots that reach the bottom. I think it'll do great in this pot actually. So let me pour a little bit of this soil out. There's not a ton of roots that reach the bottom in this, but just a few. Okay, we need to do a little smacking. Help that soil settle in. Perfect. Next up, we're gonna do this Hoya. Let me see. Lacunosa Autumn Blush. Now this pot, let's check the roots on this pretty baby. Not bad. This one looks great too. Okay, I'm gonna keep the tag with it because I always forget names. Let's find the tag for this one. Emerald Surf. All right, where's the other tag? Autumn Blush. Okay, this one goes here. This one goes here. So the Hoya are all planted, and I just wanted to share a little tip that I got from a friend on Instagram, and that is that you can actually fertilize your Hoya with this orchid spray. I've been using this for several years, off and on, just because sometimes when I run out, I forget to go get it. But I like to use this to fertilize my Hoyas, and I do this once a week. Now they'll tell you, you know, you shouldn't fertilize until like it's in the growing season, so like spring through fall. But I fertilize mine all year round. I fertilize my plants, my indoor plants all year round. It's not like a strong fertilizer, this or any other fertilizer that I use over the winter time, but I still give them a little something. So I would encourage you, if that's something you want to do, go ahead and dilute down your fertilizer and fertilize your plants all winter. They are still growing, might be slower, but they're still growing. So they should be able to have some nutrients to pull from the soil or pull from the leaves like this with this spray. Ugh, can't talk. But anyways, let me know if you guys have any questions about repotting Hoyas. You saw my mix. I used a basic potting soil, mixed it with the orchid bark, and repotted these, and they look great. Again, check out your Home Depots. I haven't seen these at Lowe's. I've only seen Proven Winners Houseplants at only Home Depot. So check out those stores. These guys, again, bright indirect light. East facing light is good where I live in the Midwest. That's a great light for Hoya. I wouldn't put them in a light that, or in a window or area that gets very strong light. So for me, the west facing light is the strongest light here where I live. So I wouldn't put Hoya in that light unless I had some kind of like sheer curtain or it was only like that bright for, a couple of hours or so. You just have to be careful. You have to keep an eye on your plants, watch out for burn, if you're keeping them in a super strong light. And then if you're keeping them in a strong light, you want to make sure that you are watering more often because they're going to dry out much faster because of that intense light. With these guys, I'm going to water them in today, and the next time I water them will be when they are mostly dry. So the top of the soil is dry, and then I do check for water by weight of the pot. So if the pot feels light, I know that the water is mostly gone or moisture is mostly gone. So if I had to give an estimate, it would probably be every 2 to 3 weeks, just depending. Right now in winter, my house is really dry, so things are drying out pretty quickly. So it can be anywhere from every week to every 3 weeks, just depending on what it's like going on. Right now, I'm running a humidifier, a whole house humidifier in the area where these plants are. So that does help a little bit to keep them from drying out super quickly, but it's not perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.